Do you want me to slate like any claps or anything?
Yeah, if you want to do like a drum roll.
Yeah, like a
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, one of those. Perfect.
While banging as loud as I can on the table. Yeah,
Absolutely.
As you requested.
Please. Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr., and I'm your host for the On the Stacks podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Jimmy Martin, co-founder at Brrrn. What's up, podcast episode 55 of the On the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door studio. Welcome, Jimmy.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, this is great. I mean,
you're very handsome, by the way.
Thank you.
You're a very handsome guy.
Well, you are more handsome with those spandex on, I gotta say.
Like I said, if it ain't tight, it ain't right.
I love it.
My wife hates that. She says, don't say that in public with people. And I'm like, it's all I got. It's my best and worst joke.
The only joke.
The only joke.
Yeah. So you wore the spandex. I mean, it's
right. It might be cutting circulation for my brain. So if I do get a little,
if you go off track,
a little bit, just bring me back.
Understood.
Which means I'll have to take these off, which is going to be even more.
It get weird.
We're starting off really well with this. By the way,
we are. I think a lot of people probably already shut it off.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh.
No, but this is really cool. I mean, thanks so much for coming in.
Can I do a cheers with you?
Yeah,
here?
Yeah, cheers. Wonder if they heard that. Probably. Glasses, beer bottles almost broke.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this is just really cool. You're from wilkes-barre, Northeast PA,
yeah.
But you're in New York City. You were home visiting. Things just worked out like crazy. I had Joe Foley on the last episode.
Yeah, I love him. He's great.
And I know you already know this, but I'll just say just for people listening, as soon as the episode ended, we're sitting here like me and you are right now, is literally as soon as the episode ended, I hit the record button to stop recording,
mm-hmm.
and he just pointed at me and goes, "I have your next guest for you." And I'm thinking to myself, oh boy.
That sounds like him. He is such an incredibly passionate guy. For as much as he's opportunistic to finding ways to help better himself, his family, his business. He's so giving with contacts. So yeah, he gave me a text and
the very next morning.
Oh, yeah, and also an Instagram voice memo. I got a double duty on the stacks. You got to check this out.
He was pushing it hard.
Yeah,
probably telling you how don't go on the podcast.
He's like, let me warn you about this guy. Wear tight pants, distract him. No.
Make bad jokes.
That's right. Yeah. And you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
No, he's incredible. I've known him for a couple of years. I'm sure in athletics growing up, we might have crossed paths, but we met in New York in the fitness scene. We're both business owners there. And so I'm very happy to be here. This is great.
Yeah. And crazy small world because, Joe is from NEPA and so are you. And the two of you, from what I understand, did not meet in Northeast PA. No. You guys met when you were in New York City.
That's right. My business partner, Johnny Adamick, who I love so much, he told me, he's like, I met this guy. I think he shouldn't drink coffee because he's just naturally energetic. She's like, I'm concerned for his heart health because he's just a very a big caffeinated personality guy. He's like, he says you guys grew up in the same area. And I was like, who? And then he said his name, and it sounded familiar because growing up in athletics, you hear people's last names, and Joey grew up, star athlete, track star. So name was familiar. I saw him. I go, I know this guy. We met for coffee. Again, didn't know caffeinated person. He didn't need coffee. Naturally charismatic and caffeinated. How many times am I going to say caffeinated in a row? But 4, 6.
Try it 10 times
10
fast.
10 more times. And we just hit it off, and we were just talking about the area, what sports was like growing up, and we've been close ever since, and really helped each other out with just talking through what we're doing with business, life, all that stuff, and I'm very grateful to be in contact with him. I wish I would have met him sooner, but hey, no time like now.
Yeah, and the other crazier part is that you and I never even met well until today.
Right.
But we talked on the phone a week ago.
That's right.
But other than that, we're both in the same hometown. We didn't even know that. We didn't even know of each other. Well, I think we knew of each other probably.
Yeah.
Just last name, whatever.
Yeah.
I took karate. I started karate at your grandfather's karate school, Martin's Karate, way back in the day.
That's crazy.
And the crazier part of the whole story of how connected you and I really are.
That's right.
My grandfather, my dad's dad, Tom Corcoran,
yeah,
served as a paratrooper in the Korean War alongside
My grandfather,
your grandfather.
Jim Martin, yeah.
Like,
it's so crazy to hear that. But I think I've never, after that, like I'd never seen him, like because he was so hyper focused on building that karate school with his wife and with my father, who's also named Jim, and which by the way, I'm Jimmy. So like
Jim, and Jimmy.
That's right.
James, Jim, and Jimmy.
Good things come in threes. That's what I've been telling people for a while.
All
So I hopefully I can live up to that with today's conversation. But yeah, just I never knew that he just super focused on the karate school. Built that from the ground up. Really impacted a lot of people's lives. I was, my mom was a black belt. My sister did karate. I did it. I only made it up to yellow belt. And the reason I only made it up to yellow belt was one of these days, one day he calls me into the center. I know that I told you the story. It's still very embarrassing, but yet very hilarious. He calls me to the center so we can spar. And the first thing he does, he foot sweeps me. And again, I'm like 8 years old. I'm figuring out who I am. I'm trying to figure out who's Jimmy Martin in 40 Fort, Pennsylvania. Get foot swept, land down, and whoopee cushion sound. It's like magnitude gas leaves my body. And I get up, as you know, like that door right there where it had, the fist that you're talking about,
the winners never quit, quitters never win.
That's
sign.
right. Right by there, ran to the door, bowed out, and I was just sitting by the Coke machine, the sort of soda machine right there. And that was the last day I did karate.
That was it.
I was like, I left my mark.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, since you shared that embarrassing, I actually have an embarrassing story there too, believe it or not.
Please tell me.
And oh man, like I can't believe I'm even going to say this.
You have no choice. You cannot go back now.
I know, I can't.
That's
and I told my wife, I was like, I'm going to surprise him with the story and all my guests, and people are going to laugh at me till the end of the earth when I say this, because I don't think I've ever admitted this or talked about this.
Yeah.
Since it happened to me there. But I have a story too.
I want to hear it.
It might be better than yours.
I'm sure it is.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So, again, in karate class, I was young, like 8 or 9 years old.
Right.
And I had to pee really bad.
Oh, of course.
So you know where this is going.
Yeah. I'm
coming towards the end of class. I think I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
And, we're sparring and, you're moving. And like the more you move, the more you got to go.
The more you got to go.
I finished the sparring match and don't remember if I won or anything, but I had to pee so bad. And I was kind of standing in the corner and, well, there you have it. I couldn't hold it anymore. I tried running out. I didn't make it out the door. I pissed my pants.
Oh my God. That's a thick gi. So there needs to be a lot of urine.
Yeah.
That has like that.
It soaked it up pretty well, thankfully. So it didn't go on the floor. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think I was like scarred for life.
Yeah. Well, the smell of that, there was a lot of people that came through there. It was maintained well, but it smelled like hard work. So
and piss.
And that's your urine.
My urine.
So we have a fart and a piss story. What a legacy to leave.
Both of us.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Like I saved that story purposely for today. I didn't tell you that before.
I'm so grateful that I'm not the only one that had an embarrassing moment. There. So
yeah. So now everyone's going to hear our embarrassing karate stories.
Like I said, if they're still listening, get ready. There's more to come.
Oh boy,
there's more to come.
Oh man.
But you went to Hanover, Hanover, yeah.
Yep.
And I went to Wyoming Valley West. So and you graduated what year again?
2007.
Okay,
from Hanover.
I was 2003. So yeah, so you're literally when you got into the high school game, I was like, I'm already out of it. I'm getting ready for the big leagues with college.
Yeah. So what did you do? What did you do after that?
Oh my gosh, what did I do while I was in high? Let me just tell you right now.
Okay.
So
all right. My bad for skipping over that.
January 2nd, 1985, James Thomas Martin III was born at the Wilkes-Barre General Hospital.
Oh, we're going this far back.
We are, so just a fragment, a star.
We only have like 5 minutes left.
I'm
kidding.
Let me fast forward. Life is fantastic. No. Grew up in 44, dad, obviously like the Martin name was something to definitely cherish here with my grandfather's success, my dad's success with coaching and athletics. So grew up, sports was the backdrop of my upbringing. My mom's a small town hairdresser, right there on Slocum Street in 44. And I have a younger sister, 2 years younger. And we, I was involved in everything, but like wrestling and football were the two things that really were things I was gravitating to. I did throw a pretty good knuckleball in, growing up as a pitcher, but I had to choose between, football and baseball. And, Valley West, like under the lights. It was hard to say no to that. Like it was really like a Friday Night Lights feeling. So did football and wrestling in high school. Also did, I was in musical theater. I had a boy band. I was in a boy band.
No way.
In high school.
Like NSYNC?
An NSYNC cover boy band called Diversity. Mind you, we were 5 Caucasian males that were basically singing and dancing for talent shows. So I clearly made my father very proud by focusing a lot of my efforts basically singing, with again, frosted tips. It was a sight.
Wow.
Probably as good as the ghee that you had
that
ruined
was soaked
at
in
my
urine.
grandfather's.
Yeah.
But that was where like the because as an athlete you're kind of front and center. Wrestling, it's you and the other guy underneath the lights. Football, you're same exact thing. So there's like a performative thing that happens there. So I always had this like itch to want to perform. So doing musical theater in high school was like the first step. Diversity was clearly a side step, but also another step forward. And I was lucky. I got a scholarship to wrestle in college at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. It was a Division I scholarship. Very happy to have school, partially paid for. But it was 4 hours away from home, and that was challenging because like when you literally live and breathe, northeastern Pennsylvania, and you go to outside of DC, it felt like a whole nother world. You know what I mean? How did you feel when you went to school? Like, did you went to?
I went to Penn State. So I actually did 2 years at Penn State Hazleton first. So I was still home basically. But then I did my second 2 years out in State College.
I don't know how anybody graduates from Penn State University. It is such a
I'll say this I don't think I was smart enough to get into. I didn't even apply to the main campus.
You're a smart guy. We're on the stacks right now, my man. You are.
Yeah, this is the epiphany of smart.
Yeah, you have so much. I think if people don't see it here, your light shines so well. Again, I said, did I tell you how handsome you are? You're very.
I think you said that when we started.
You're a very handsome guy. And
Thank you.
I don't know if those glasses are Warby Parker.
They are.
They are. Yeah. I don't wear glasses, but I know So shout out to Warby Parker. Sponsor this guy's podcast.
Yeah, for real.
He's making noise around the
What's
area.
up, Warby?
but yeah, no, like Penn State, I mean, as a wrestler, they have the best wrestling program, I think, in recent time with Cale Sanderson as a coach. But I had friends that went there. They were like, engineering majors and some had a pre-med track. I was very lucky that we'd have like a huge football team or anything, because like that is, I commend people who can graduate there because it is at
Penn State.
At Penn State,
yeah,
it is.
I probably wouldn't have made it. That's what I think that's where I was going with that. I probably wouldn't. If I went there as a freshman, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah. You've been in the stacks, not on the stack. Yeah.
Yes, it would have been too much fun.
too much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was. I think leaving, whether it's like a few minutes away or hours away from your comfort zone, is super important. And that really kind of was thematic in the rest of my life. But yeah, Mesa was good. I was more successful as a high school athlete than I was collegiate. I made it all through 4 years of college, which is really like that I'm very proud of that because I had a lot of teammates who were very good in high school, were very good in college, and they just got burnt out. And I think because of the way that my dad was a coach and just having that environment of, and also being around my grandfather, knowing that like you represent more than just you. And, as someone who's, legacy families like the Martins and the Corkins are, I didn't want to like disappoint my family. So like the idea of quitting just wasn't an option. And so I sucked it out all 4 years. Just like I did in high school, I was doing sketches for our, for student athletes every single year as a way to like bond with the new incoming class. You would do like talent shows. And I was like, insert knuckle crack. We're doing some dance. We're doing some weird stuff as a guy that like always watched SNL and these sketch comedy shows in living color. We would win these talent shows and we would get to perform at Midnight Madness in front of like 5,000 plus people doing stupid, silly stuff. And I was like, this feels good. Like, this is awesome. So like graduating college, I was like, I want to find a way to do that, but like make a living out of it. And little did I know how hard that was going to be, but yeah, it's just, it's interesting looking back, seeing all the things that you put yourself through just as you're trying to build your quote unquote life resume and realizing like, that's really the way forward, is to embrace randomness, I had, my parents, they wanted me to have a stable job. They wanted me to be able to have a family one day. They wanted me to be happy and to really be self-sufficient. And I'm very grateful. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way with having a family that really helped, encourage your growth. There are a lot of people who aren't fortunate to have that. So I can't knock having so much, but it was super important for me to kind of like fly away from the nest and figure out my own stuff.
Yeah. What did you think you learned the most when you got away?
That I miss my mom's cooking a lot. Like that. Wow, I got to make food myself. You can't just order stuff. I mean,
can't eat pizza every day.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, Chick-fil-A was just kind of breaking into the munch scene for me. Like senior year, I was like, what is
this?
What is this? But yeah, just like knowing that they're there, but like why I'm here as well. And I met my sweetheart in college, and I got involved in theater in DC. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna let me try this thing out. So I started with community theater. I had a part-time job at the university as an assistant to the woman that was the director of our like student council for student athletes called SAC. So she gave me the opportunity to like experiment to kind of figure this way out, which was, it's a challenging pursuit, to be in the performing arts. So I was like, okay, let me try this out. I was doing community theater. I saw a casting call for like a professional show that was going to happen in DC. I didn't know what the show was. So I wrote this monologue, this crazy, silly monologue, and I performed like almost like a cattle call in Arlington, Virginia. And then I get a call back saying that they wanted to hire me as a understudy and a ensemble cast member for this show that just came from Broadway into DC called The History Boys and won a Tony Award in 2007. James Corden was actually in the late night comedy talk show host was in the Broadway cast that was in West End and then in New York. So I was an understudy and ensemble. And if anybody knows anything about theater, understudies have to know the part or parts of the people that are in the show, in addition to the other things that they're doing. So it's literally like two different languages that you have to be fluent in at the same time. And so it was incredible. I was around New York City actors and DC actors who were doing this for a living. I was this guy, again, former boy band member, first rodeo guy.
Spandex wearing.
Yeah, exactly, right. Underneath my clothes, because again, comfort zone, #comfort zone. And literally learning as I go, terrified that I would screw up. But I was like, there's only one way to learn. It's by again, leaning into discomfort. Like this thing terrifies me. Let's have more of that. Did the show for 14 weeks, got into Equity, which is like the professional union for stage actors. And then I auditioned for a film. I was in a independent film called Toe to Toe. I played a bully named Twisted Cap. Fun fact, did not wear a cap that was twisted in that movie. So it was definitely false advertising for my character.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But was in the show with the woman who's the lead in that Star Trek show. That's sort of like the TV show now. I think Sonequa Martin is her name.
No relation.
Great last name. No relation. I wish. She's very very successful actress. And I was like, wow, this all happened. And then I got into AFTRA, which was before SAG-AFTRA merged. AFTRA is for the television radio artists, and then got SAG eligible through that as well. And I was like, wow, like I'm affiliated with all these unions. I've been doing this for like 6 months. Maybe I should go to New York and try this out. So, would take the 1:30 a.m. Canal Street bus in DC to then be on set at like 5:30, 6 o'clock to be a background performer on like TV shows, like Important Things with Demetri Martin, which was a comedy show on Comedy Central, and The Guiding Light, the soap opera where I actually screwed up and I didn't know how to open up a champagne bottle, and I almost hit the main actor in the face with the thing. And then I became a recurring character, like the clumsy waiter, because I literally, I'm a ding dong.
By pure accident.
By pure accident. So I was like, things were happening, and I decided like 2009, like 2 years after graduating, I'm going to go all in, and I'm going to move to New York City. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you moved there with, somewhat of a plan.
A little bit, yeah. I had a job interview at the Container Store, and then I realized that wasn't really a job interview. I actually didn't have it. Whoever did that got fired, and then I was like, so I don't have like this. It was a temp position, and it was like good to go. And I go up there, and it's like as if it never happened. I'm like, okay, cool. This is good. Okay, this is going to be fun. I can't wait to tell my parents. Yeah,
good start.
So tried. I realized I'm not. From that guiding light moment, can't be a bartender. Clearly, can't open a champagne bottle. So what could I do? And I was like, wow, okay, I was a D1 athlete. Maybe I'll be a personal trainer. So I got certified. And in addition to working at a gym, I was passing out AM New York newspapers at 6 a.m. Before I went to the gym to train. I had a brief stint, and I say brief, in sarcastically because I wasn't wearing any briefs as a nude art model for a year, posing in art schools. I was the Michael Jordan of nude art modeling. My dad during Thanksgiving in 2009 was like, he said, you realize most people get dressed to go to work and you get undressed to go to work. And I go, you're damn right I do, Dad. Everybody's gonna be proud of me.
Made him proud.
No problem. But it was tough. It was trying to find my footing in New York, 2009. And I got married to my college sweetheart in 2010, and so things sort of changed when she moved up from Virginia, where she was going to grad school, to live with me in New York. So,
what was the next chapter?
Well, it was trying to be a responsible husband and realizing, okay, I can't. I gotta be a little serious, and I gotta save for a future, and I really wanted to be on SNL. I wanted to be a late night comedy writer and performer. So I took improv classes. I through at the Upright Citizens Brigade, which actually closed in New York, unfortunately, because of COVID, and found my way like talking to aspiring comedians, and got a job, like part-time job as a greeting card writer, and then which was awesome. And people are like, oh, like the 500 Days of Summer, right? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, kind of like that, but just not as prominent as the as the actual movie. And then was still auditioning, and then found my way to for SNL. They were looking for improvisers who that went through certain levels of improv and sketch comedy training. Sent my stuff to them. Was hired as a background performer, which essentially you're in the background,
popping bottles,
right? But it was very small and intimate because it was only for people that were in the union. So like there's like 20 of us that would come back week in and week out for those digital shorts. And I was there during the, Bobby Moynihan, Kristen Wiig, Bill Hader, Fred Armisen, Jason Sudeikis era, which was incredible, to see like how Lonely Island made all these videos, and really learned a lot about like doing a lot with very little, and just how competitive comedy is. And so there's actually a guy from my high school, Rob Klein, that was a writer on that show that I didn't even know about that. And Rob went to Harvard. He was a Lampoon writer. A lot of those guys and gals get hired for these late night shows. It's a nice like sort of feeder system in the comedy world. And I find out he's on the show, and I'm talking with them, and I'm like asking him to look at my stuff. I'm writing sketches, commercial parodies. And so I'm like, I'm on track to be like a writer's assistant at SNL. And then my world changes when I find out that my wife is sick. And it all began in actually right after my grandfather passed away in September of 2013. My life changed shortly after when I found out, Lynn was sick.
So what did she have? Cancer?
Yeah, she was diagnosed with a mediastinal teratoma. So she had an ovarian cyst when she was 18. They removed it. They thought it was benign, but then it metastasized like in the pleura of her lungs. And she was doing work out in Pittsburgh, and she was like traveling for work. And so she came in to sort of like be there for me and my family for my grandfather's passing. And she was sitting on the couch, and my dad noticed that she was, breathing weird. She was really working hard to breathe. And she had complained about having chest pain and back pain, but she had asthma. It was winter, fall, winter. But my dad's like, something's not right. And at the time, he was working at the Wilkes-Barre General Hospital as a cardiovascular sonographer. He was a respiratory therapist before that. He takes her in, and they see a mass. And they're like, we don't know what this is yet. So they do a biopsy. They find out that it can be treated with chemotherapy. And so they said, where do you want to go? And my dad's like, you'll get a lot of good stuff at University of Penn. So she was in the ambulance. I was in a car with her. Her family drove up from Virginia 4 hours away. And we made our way to UPenn. And for, 7 months, it was trying to do work, trying to get money. I was very fortunate to raise, to have the community here raise money to help, pay for these outrageous hospital bills that I didn't have a full-time job, and so that really did help. And, trying to be a caregiver and make a living at the same time. And, she fought as hard as she could, but, May 12th of 2014, she had passed away. We found out, they said the cancer was gone, March 9th of 2013. We were excited to begin our life again. And then she was complaining of chest pains in April and found out it came back and it was terminal after they had removed the tumor in January. And my life changed. And it's interesting how, looking back, all the things I wish I would have done, but just how grateful I am to have had someone like her in my life and what she had taught me and who she and how she always, because we met in college. She was a D1 rower, this 5'9", 5'10" Puerto Rican woman who, literally she was so emotionally and physically stronger than me. And she just encouraged me to be me,
What was the thing that you said that she taught you the most?
If you have to try really hard at something, you should probably stop trying at that something. Unless you're working towards a bigger goal, you shouldn't have to force things, whether it be relationships. And if something's keeping you up at night, answer that thing. And she really was the one that encouraged me to follow my foot with the company, my fitness company that I ended up pivoting to create. And I took her last few words serious. I mean, she had a week before she passed away. She was like, this idea for a fitness concept that I had. She's like, that's the proudest thing that I'll never get to see. And that stayed with me. And I was like, I got to make this thing happen. And so that's when comedy meets tragedy meets epiphany. And I was like, I'm going to dedicate my life to creating a health and wellness platform that encourages people to go through something painful and come out on the other side better for it.
That's super cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Both, the impetus of the story and the actual concept itself, I created this crazy thing, the world's first and only cool temperature fitness experience called Brrrn, but spelled BRRRN. And I'm making you wear a shirt right now that says my workout is cooler than yours because I'm obsessed with dad jokes, and dad jokes can get you business if you say them the right way.
And my podcast studio is cooler than yours.
That's right. It definitely is.
But it actually is though. What do you think? I mean, you're looking a little cold. What do you think of the temperature in here? I actually lowered it.
It's good. I bet you I can guess what the temp is. It's probably
I lowered it just for you.
Did you really?
I mean, I had to. You were coming. I mean, we couldn't do a podcast unless we were cold.
I have ice cubes underneath my shirt right now.
I was going to say, I thought it looked like something was melting over there.
You thought that they were abs. No, they're just 6 ice cubes in the front of my. But no, it's probably about 68 right now.
No way. It's way colder.
It's way cold. Really?
I feel like it is. My toes are cold.
Okay. It's in the 60s for sure.
Definitely.
We'll follow up after this.
Yeah, we will.
Because everybody's going to be wondering what is the temperature of the studio.
I think after this podcast, I think the only thing people are really going to be wondering was what was the temperature in the studio when we recorded this.
And by people, I mean my dad, who's probably the only one that's listening to this right now.
Yeah, and my mom. And that's it.
That's right.
That's it.
And that's fine. Yeah, because they're both part of leadership. They're on the board of advisors for Leadership Wilkes-Barre, which is a great program. So shout out.
Small world.
It's a very small world. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I know that and there's so many interesting discoveries that you make along the way about, what do you want to do with your life? And I never really knew. I mean, look, growing up, your family business here, I don't know if you were like, I want to be part of that. Or whether it's like, you know what, I'm going to find my way to where I want to, you know, what I want with my life. And this just happens to be the path, right? And some things are intentional, some things are unintentional. Like how is that for you? See, I'm flipping this. I'm flipping the roles here for a second.
Well, like I always worked here at Corcoran Printing as a kid, you know, so like I always had an interest, and I think I always saw myself working here.
Hashtag child labor laws. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. But no, like after college, my dad had a rule which I think was really great and it served me really well, as well as my other siblings, was that if you want to come work for the family business, you can. After you go to college, get a job somewhere else, and we'll say, I'm doing finger quotes, in the real world.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? So I got a job in the real world. I worked for Verizon Wireless.
That's right.
And I hated it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll say this, it was a good first job right out of college.
Sure, yeah.
Like I made decent money back home here. I was still living at home. I moved out of home. I got the job, and after a couple months, I moved out and got my own apartment.
Good. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like this is cool.
Like I'm, as the people say, living it up right now.
I was, yeah. Or living the dream.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked at Verizon for only a little over a year. And my dad said, go work somewhere else for a few years. And if you want to, come into the company at some point, we'll talk about it. But yeah, like at that point, I didn't know. And even when I worked at Verizon, I actually was like, you know what, I think this, like, I think maybe this is what I want to do, and I didn't really know. But I did. So I liked it. But then it just came to the point where like the corporate world just kind of got to me.
Yeah.
In a sense that like, I personally, ethically, morally, whatever you want to say, just didn't really align with their values and mission and whatever. And I just, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but like, I wasn't a fit there.
Sure.
And it made me realize, the true value of working for a family business.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So like I said, it got to a point, like it just became like political there to get promoted, and you had to do things that like you didn't feel comfortable doing. Selling, I worked in sales, and I was like, if I don't like that, I'm not going to sell it. Like if I don't believe in it, I'm not going to sell. Like I'm not going to force something on somebody that I don't think is going to work for you. So
right. I want you to sell. I'm not going to be like the Jordan guy from Wolf of Wall Street, but I want you to sell me that. I want you to sell me that bottle opener really quick.
I can't, because it's actually the worst bottle opener.
Okay. So it's the worst bottle opener.
Yeah. So I'm not going to sell you it.
But you know why I'm going to buy it?
Why?
Because I said it before, and I'll say it again. You are HANDSOME.
Handsome.
That's right.
Thank you.
So could I have this now?
I could, yeah, but I don't believe in it. That's why I didn't want to sell it to you. See,
it was a soft sell. You were like, I guess you can have it.
Yeah.
I wanted it more.
Yeah.
People are like, this guy does not do anything with his business.
Yeah. Worst salesperson in the world over here.
What's crazy? So like I never knew really what I wanted to do. I knew that my mom started her own business as a hairdresser. She's had her business for quite some time, and several decades. I think like 4 decades. I mean, she fell into her passion. Went to she went to Coughlin High School. My dad went to Myers, and my mom always knew what she wanted to do. And I didn't realize how much I was taking after her with like the idea of starting something, creating a platform where people can experience better through you. And so when people ask who my hero is, I go, not my dad, just to make them really upset. No, but it's a combination of my father and my mom, because like the idea of like fitness and athletics and the priority of staying on top of your health, and then with my mom, just like that, just like inconquerable work ethic and the ability to make such an impact without having to, really advertise anything besides her skills. I'm sure you can attest to the work that your family does here. But with Brrrn, I was like, okay. What I didn't mention is I used to, another one of the many jobs I was doing, I was writing ads for brands, and I love copywriting, which is essentially comedy writing, but within ad agencies. And so I just love playing with words. I love finding ways to be healthy. I love the idea of leading people as a business owner. And Brrrn really happened because I like ran into the right person. Like I knew I couldn't do this myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did it happen?
Yeah,
I mean, 2 guys in a beer fridge in Brooklyn sounds kind of weird.
That sounds like a whole nother story. But like this, I met this guy, Johnny Adamick, in the private training scene, and he was a former public health official that worked for former Mayor Michael Bloomberg on his obesity task force. And he was, again, an academic, Midwest guy, went to the University of Wisconsin. He was a Badger, and he was actually the mascot for the University of Wisconsin Badgers. So he only feels comfortable if he has a mask over his head, but he's since got it. He's a very handsome guy. I mean, you guys together in a photo, you break the camera because it's just so too much handsome.
It is.
That joke has since run its course, and you realize now why I don't work in comedy anymore, because it's not funny. So, but your good looks, those are no joke. So anyway, meet him, and I just, coming off of the eve of my wife's passing, I just start talking to him, and I'm like, man, this guy, he feels like the other half to this idea. So I say, hey, Johnny, do you want to meet me for coffee? And he's like, sure. And he too has a caffeinated personality like Joey. So like that clearly doesn't need coffee, needs decaf more than anything. But tell him about Brrrn. I'm like, I had this idea for a cool temperature fitness experience. It's a bespoke fridge set to 50 degrees. Science says that you can work out harder for longer when heat doesn't get in the way. And I knew as a wrestler, there was nothing more taxing than just being paralyzed by heat with rubber suits, trying to sweat. Because I thought if you're not sweating, you're not working out. Not the case. Ask any runner who runs in the fall and winter. They're wearing shorts because they know that their performance is better because their core body temperature is lower. So he's like, has anybody done this before? I'm like, no. And found out that there's 39,000 fitness concepts in the country at that time, and 0 were focusing on exercise below 72 degrees. So he saw this as an opportunity. He's like, I want to be the other half to this. He's like, but we got to do trials. So we did a trial in a beer fridge in Brooklyn, 6 Point Brewery's beer fridge. They thought we were crazy. We signed so many different liability waivers. They're like, please don't die in this thing here. I'm like, but our bodies will be preserved if we do. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Bayo's Ice here. Know the Hanson family very well. Asked them, hey, could I exercise a bunch of people in your fridge? Because I used to work for Bayo's Ice in high school, after college for a summer job. Literally #coolest job ever. And they were like, cool, yeah, all right. And I said, how much can you raise the temp without losing product? And they're like, okay, yeah, 32 degrees. So I got a bunch of friends of mine, former athletes, some of my mom's beauty shop customers, did a workout in that fridge, learned a lot. Again, Johnny did all the research and landed at 50 degrees Fahrenheit because of third-party research with runners doing better in the 40s and 50s. And fun fact, if anybody's been to a late night comedy show, now it's all, it's a different time, but David Letterman in the 80s noticed that his audience were nodding off when he was doing his jokes. And he knew that he's like, I'm David Letterman. It's not the jokes. It's clearly something else. So he was like, I think it's the temperature of this room. So it was room temp, 68, 72 degrees. He lowered it to in the low 60s, did a show. I was like, okay. Lowered it into the high 50s. He's like, okay. And then he landed at 55 degrees was the temperature that people were focused in the moment. Jokes were landing. They were crisp, just like the air. And that's become the precedent for a temperature in these late night shows. Jimmy Fallon's studio is notoriously cold. That's where we had holding where all the background performers would be during SNL when we were filming. And so that's a fun fact, like David. So essentially what I'm trying to say is David Letterman gets it, So
you stole his idea.
So I stole his idea.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Too late, Dave. Anyway, so did the research and then got our first investor who was a former client of mine doing personal training and put a pitch deck together and just literally tried to fight imposter syndrome the entire time, pitching this thing, which was felt like it was 300 failed pitches. People were like, you're crazy. This seems unsafe. You're nuts. And then after the 300th no, we got for our first yes.
So who were you pitching this to? What?
Oh, VCs, high net worth individuals, people that were in our third partners network. I don't know anybody, So just
how did you find them?
I mean, we use a couple different crowdfunding platforms, not like Indiegogo, but there were some that were, that were targeted for people who are accredited investors, and you put your pitch deck on there, and you may have a little video explaining something, and so we did that, and then it just became a ripple effect. One person said yes, then more and more and more, and then we raised like $1.5 million and realized, oh, we can open up a studio. So we opened up in like the most competitive area for fitness in the world at that time, which is the Flatiron Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan, and everybody thought this was very gimmicky. That this is stupid. People were like, I want to go try this workout out, and we designed it so it looked like a ski lodge, and I hired incredibly personable and real people that not just like quote unquote look the part, because I think that's stupid. I think that like fitness begins within. People that were private trainers, but also incredibly personable and good group exercise instructors, and people that you can like have a beer with on a podcast, in the middle of winter, like right now. So it was just fun to be able to hire people that I felt were extensions of Johnny and myself, and we were met with a lot of great press and success. And I come to find out, looking at the table here.
Hey, I pulled out. I went into the archives before you came.
This is crazy. I cannot believe that you made the flyers that we kindly forced our front desk people to pass out to people on the streets of New York. Keep your cool year round, and then our logo right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, heated New Yorkers, the best way to keep your cool, come to Brrrn, That's so crazy. I mean, we made a lot, because like we had a good amount. Probably you probably would be like, I think you could have made more.
Yeah.
We could have made more for you.
Coulda, shoulda.
I really wish you could have come see it while we were still open. Unfortunately we had to temporarily close because of the state mandate, but we're on to other things now as a company, which are really exciting.
Yeah. So I want to talk about those a little bit. I mean, innovation, evolution.
Yeah, I think, the only way to really, I think the job of any innovator, be it in tech, fitness, any industry, is to improve the systems of your predecessors, right? Antiquation does not prompt growth. And we were doing a very different thing and got a lot of exposure. I mean, to the point where we were going to scale internationally, domestically with this like bespoke fridge idea. And then, we realized there's, the rise of Peloton and at-home fitness was really kind of coming to a head. And we're like, wow, we can't like ask people to turn their air conditioning up and like work out in their house. Like, how can we deliver goosebumps in a different way? And so, what's behind me, which I'm really proud. And your form was great. So like,
thank you.
You're very good taking direction. So I'm not surprised, but this our Brrrn Board, which is behind me, and people were it's a sort of a 5 to 6 foot by 2 feet. Almost like think of it like a slick yoga mat. You put booties over your shoes and you sort of slide back and forth like you're a rollerblader or a speed skater. And they were popular back in the 90s. We sort of joke and say like this was your Aunt Donna's favorite workout back in the 90s, because they had slide aerobics, but the boards were made poorly and they just kind of died away. And then we kind of gave it a makeover, because I used it as a D1 athlete, and it was an incredible low impact, high intensity workout that was so easy on your joints. And essentially I say it's a gym that can fit under your couch,
or under the stacks.
Or under the stacks, baby. That's right. So we were developing this at-home program built around the slide board, and then when we were mandated to close March of 2020, it just accelerated this pursuit to meet people where they're at, which is at home. So I mean, how was the area affected? I mean, from what I understand, like things were closed here as well, but like slowly opening at certain capacities, right? Fitness centers and stuff.
Yeah,
that's a subtle way for me asking you, Bill, what do you do for your fitness?
Yeah, were you doing market research right now?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot.
So you would complete that?
I can be a sponsored Brrrn athlete.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
We call them burners, which actually has another connotation.
I didn't know about this.
Burn.
Like I really didn't know this.
Yeah,
so
we
improv.
Feel the burn. That's right. Yeah. One word suggestion. Fun. Okay. Thank you. But I mean, look, going back to Joey, he has an incredible concept that that he's now sort of pivoted to at home, but now he unlike other people. I bet you he didn't talk about me on this, but you know what? I'm going to talk about Joey right now.
Yeah. By the way, Joey from the last episode.
The last episode, right? Exactly. Leaned into this challenge and going back to like leaning into discomfort. He took over Soul Cycle's old space in Union Square. Like that was insane. A huge spot for them, and he got it. So he has a place in Brooklyn, place in Union Square. I couldn't be more happy for him. He's going to be doing great things. So like, shout out to Joey. But
and shout out to Joey again for introducing us. Even like I said earlier, like we I guess kind of knew each other, but didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for honestly, if it wasn't for Joey coming on the podcast last week on the last episode, you wouldn't be here. So
let's not give him too much credit right now because I'm gonna get some text being like, yeah, should I cut that? I did you right. No, I'm kidding. He's great. I love him and his family, and shout out to his baby girl. Like, oh my God, that family is so like, talk about like a family that does that. Their photo should be in all of the portraits that you like, like the frames. They're when
you're
a frame photo family.
Yeah, like when you buy a frame and don't take the photo out, like at home, like me and my wife, like we have a frame that's been on our shelf for like over a year.
Yeah,
and it still has the other family in it. Like we're not even in it.
Like it was just bad.
And like nobody even ever even asks about it either. Like,
that's so funny. Yeah, he's great. He got that sun in the eyes smile. Oh God, it's just Anyway. I'm doing a lot of. I'm trying to be more complimentary to people's skill sets and their looks. So I hope that you're getting that from me today.
Definitely.
Okay, fantastic.
My new look, my form on the Brrrn Board.
Yeah, it's so important, man. Like because there's so much competition out there with fitness, and now like again we pivoted to at home. We leaned all in. We leaned into that. We're seeing a lot of traction with our Brrrn At-Home experience. And shop.thebrrrn.com, again BRRN, and we've recorded hundreds of workouts with like a bunch of different things that you can do on and off the board, including like yoga stuff and stretching and breath work, which is super important. Like people's mental health have been affected tremendously because of this. So moving your body and moving your breath is so important in a purposeful way. And we take that responsibility very seriously. So I'm hoping that it catches on. We're raising money right now based around this concept. So we have so far a very close commitment to a very prominent athletic figure, who I will not name.
Oh, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Okay, but you heard it here first.
Yeah, soon enough. So I'm super excited to see that could really turn some heads, and I couldn't be happier to potentially have an investment and partnership with this
congratulations
person. Thank you.
That.
Yeah,
that's exciting. It's super cool.
Yeah, but it's been a long road, but like my gosh, I'm so happy that I have my family here to keep me in check, and I've remarried. My wife Rachel is my rock, and she keeps me in check. She hates the
spandex
look. It ain't tight, ain't right jokes. She's heard these stories, the boy band jokes or intended jokes before. She says, you need to get new material. I refuse to innovate my routine.
Like it.
You like it? Yeah. As long as you like it, man, I'm happy with it. But I'm super grateful to come back and sort of touch back in the past and present time coming here. My grandparents, my mom's parents live literally like 2 minutes away from here. So it's so nice to be able to see them despite the circumstances, right?
Yeah. And super cool. No pun intended. That was like, unintentional. But again, super cool that, Joey was on last week and he texted me and you happen to be home too. Like if it wasn't for all of these weird coincidences, like so you wouldn't be here. It's bizarre. Like,
and let's not hide this very important person, Chris Bohinski.
Oh my God.
PA, the PA Live, Chris Bohinski, who was also a guest here, right?
Episode 29.
He is, he's a dear friend. He lived in New York when I was living there. He actually lived with my old roommate, and we were working on some stuff together. I'm so happy for him, all the success that he's having with PA Live. Really did revitalize that show. you like Live with Kelly and Ryan, watch Chris and Haley, man. They are the real deal. And I hope that
No doubt.
I hope the Emmy nominations start coming in for them too, because they're adding a new face and some really much needed personality to the news, positivity, entertainment. That they're unmatched,
Definitely.
So,
So shout out to them. And we borrowed his Brrrn board.
He did, which by the way,
I'm keeping.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
Because you know why? I'm going to tell, and Chris, if you're listening to this, you said you'd used it. Clearly wasn't used, because I opened the bag up where we have our sort of thank you for buying the Brrrn board, which you didn't buy. I gave it to you because you're a friend, and I'm going to bill you and your wife will have one yourself. So you heard it here on air.
Awesome.
So it was not used. So you know what I'm going to do? So I'm seeing him after this. Guess what he's doing?
You're gonna
full workout.
Yeah.
A full.
You're gonna push him hard.
That's right. And we're not gonna have the windows open so that the cool can help him.
Turn the heat up.
Cranking it up, man.
Burn him.
But this is a good space, man.
Thanks.
You're the Joe Rogan of this area.
Yeah.
I'm saying it first. It's probably been said before.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, but
I think
it sounds better coming out of your mouth.
Bill paid me money to say that, by the way. No, I was kidding.
Cut that.
Yeah. But I think it's so important, I'm seeing a lot of people come back here, and I'm seeing a lot of people who are choosing to have careers here. And it's nice to see the city, I'm sure it's more present in other areas than what I'm trying to say is that there's a new vibrancy to this area. Because, I left, it seemed like opportunity was elsewhere. I come back here to see my family and friends, and it seems like there's something here again. I don't know if you feel that. I don't know if you're back because you have, roots here, but there's something that's vibrant that's here. And I think that there is a way, a lot of people who are they moved back home from New York and Philly and other places because, they needed a new start. And it's stimulating the economy here, and people they're recalibrating and values are changing, and people are just realizing what truly does matter, which is like the need to be good to one another.
Definitely.
It's you don't get that in New York. If you get eye contact, you're kind of like, what's going on right now?
Yeah.
But there's a new trend of
coolness.
Of coolness. That's right.
You like that?
I told myself I wouldn't talk as much because that typically happens. So I want to apologize right now for just taking up all the airtime.
Yeah, accepted.
I love that you acknowledge that and made me feel good at the same time. Oh my God.
So how can our listeners learn more about Brrrn? How can someone get started? Who's it for? What do they need to do?
Oh my gosh. I thought you would never ask. So if you are still listening, you can check us out on the internet at shop.thebrrn, TheBrrn.com. If you are somebody that's looking for a low impact, low tech, low priced option, we're that resource for you. It is, like I said, a gym that can fit under your couch or under the stacks, as Bill had referenced. It is as if a Pilates reformer had a baby with a treadmill. So you're going to get that runner's high without having to run. You're going to work on all those muscles that typically are used, that you would feel in a Pilates class, but still get that competitive edge that you would expect from any at-home workout system. So what I want to do for your listeners is to give a discount code, STACKS25, for 25% off your purchase. So this is a product that I think meets people where their wallet's at. We have a pay-as-you-go option as well. So for as little as $18 a month for a few months, you can afford this piece of equipment. I'm not trying to bankrupt people. I want you to break a sweat, not the bank.
I like that.
I rehearsed that before.
Yeah, you were practicing it.
I practiced it, yeah.
Yeah. I coached you a little.
You did.
Yeah.
You gave me like the nod, like, say the thing now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
go ahead.
Here it is.
Cueing you. Yeah. No, it's cool. Thanks for doing that. And, if anyone missed it, Stacks25, and I'll include it on my website, which is onthestacks.com. I'll recap some of what we talked about, some of the cool bullet points.
There you go.
And I'll put that code also on my website, onthestacks.com, so people can, go on there and also,
I appreciate
check it
that.
out. Yeah.
As long as you promote Brrrn more than Joey's brand, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. He's gonna be like, dude, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, support small businesses in general, right? It's super important. Small businesses are the life force of communities, and it is terrible to see how the lack of leadership is destroying that, especially from my purview in New York City, where it was once the epicenter for health and for boutique fitness. It's a ghost town, and we're very fortunate to have an incredible community that is supporting us and a community that we're continuously building. But please help small businesses. It is, we're doing our best to survive, and if the small businesses are gone, the world's going to be a very different place. And so I can't encourage it enough.
Yeah, definitely. How can our listeners connect with Brrrn on social media?
Yes. So if you have a smartphone, go to Instagram and do @BRRN. We're on there. If you were somewhat pleased by this and we're still listening and you wanted to see the other things that I do virtually, I'm at Jimmy T. Martin on Instagram. And I will definitely reach back out to you if you ask me any questions. But no, I will not do a resurgence of the boy band stuff. That I've hung that hat up.
Shucks.
Yeah,
that was my next question.
When will Diversity go back on tour? I don't know. Well,
One day.
Maybe if we create a Patreon account and raise some money. I mean,
yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Never know. Never say never.
Definitely. What else? Is there anything I didn't ask you? I should have.
I think we covered a lot. I feel very good about this experience. I feel even better that we had, just our paths have crossed organically. And I'm so upset that I did not know that your family, that Corcoran Printing made all those flyers that I kindly asked my team to pass out. Very well done, by the way.
Thank you.
And gosh, it's like life is so incredible when you have these like little surprises. And so I'm super grateful that this worked out, man.
Totally. Me too.
Really, your stuff is important. It's integral. These conversations while people are washing the dishes or going for a walk or run. This medium of edutainment is absolutely necessary. So I couldn't be happy for what you're building here. It's sticky as in traction. Not the table. Your tables are very clean.
It is.
Just like you're onto something, man. And I couldn't be a bigger fan of what you're doing. So
I appreciate that.
I love to come back and provide some updates sometime in the future.
For sure.
If you'll have me.
Of course.
Good. So we have it literally live. You've affirmed
Yep.
my sequel debut.
Of course, yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. But very happy to be here, Bill. This was absolutely incredible.
For me, it was a really cool experience.
I
had to do it.
I can't get enough of it. I
Had to. I had to throw one more.
I will say to people, if you are cold, right? If you have, again, because we glossed over the cold thing, but it's so important to treat cold as an ally, not an enemy. Cold does so many incredible things for your body. Increasing white blood cell count. You don't have to be crazy and jump into an ice bath like I do every morning.
Yeah, you're nuts.
And I'm not nuts guy. I'm a nuts guy. But ending your showers on cold, oscillating between hot and cold, you're gonna feel like $1 million. It's for me. I say, cold exposure is like a year's worth of therapy in like 3 to 5 minutes. Especially when I'm in the ice bath, it's calming. It's church for me, and my life has been so much better because of having, introducing this slowly but surely. So don't be afraid of it. Again, lean into the things that terrify you.
And one more time, Stacks25, and where can they shop?
Shop.thebrrn, THEBRRN.com.
Awesome.
Can we do an exit cheers?
Yeah, let's do it.
There we go.
All right. Clink.
Clink.
All right. Brrrn, Jimmy Martin, on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Bill.
If you'd like to learn more about the On the Stacks podcast, be sure to search the hashtag #OnTheStacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'll catch you next time on the Stacks.